Login accepted.
Yo, sup fams, as I promised, doing the quick optimization guide for yous. So there's a couple of things to go through here. We're going to do something in your documents, we're going to do something in your Nvidia control panel, and also further into the game settings as well. So I'll take you all through that step by step. So first place you guys want to go to is over here in documents, right? Call of Duty, players. You're going to look for this file here called options.3.cod22.cst. You're going to open this. If you get this to pop up, hit notepad and deselect always use app. That way it stays defaulted. Now what you're going to do is you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom. Over here, render work account. Now what you need to do here is put the total amount of cores you have on your computer. For example, I have a 9900K. This is how you can find it. You can put it straight into Google and you'll get the stats, okay? So total cores, I have 8, threads is 16. So you only want to set this. Mine was 7 by default. I've changed it to 8 now. 16 threads, 8 render work account, file, save, close that. You don't have to worry about it anymore, and that's that. Now we'll go to step 2. We're going to go to your Nvidia control panel, and we're going to do a lot of changes here, okay guys? So firstly, before we manage 3D settings, can I get you all to move over to configure surround physics? On your processor, please select your graphics card and not your CPU. You only select your CPU if you have a APU, which is a CPU and GPU in one go. But in general, everyone's got a dedicated graphics card, so you should be selecting a graphics card here. Second thing, your refresh rates, make sure you're set. My monitor's got 165, my second monitor's, oh wow, it's actually set to 60. That's not good. Well, anyway, I got to change that. So over here, just make sure you set your refresh rate and your correct resolution sizes. Other things to consider is apply these following Nvidia color settings. You're going to have more color pop on everything you do. Okay, so highest, 8bpc, RGB, and then full. By default it's limited, so you want to select full. Do the same thing to your second monitor, hit apply, yes, you're good to go. Okay, next up, desktop color settings. This is totally up to your preference. Okay, me personally, by default digital vibrance is 50. My brightness and contrast on my screen personally here at home is more than well for me, so you want to bring this up to about 75%. That's what I have it at personally. See how you go. You'll be able to see the difference. As you can see, if I adjust this, the background was now black and white. Yeah, so it's just putting more color into your monitor, more saturation in other words. So once you've done that, apply that. People, G-Sync, a lot of people ask about if this should be on or off. Okay, if you're not reaching your monitor's refresh rate, so for example 144 hertz or 165 hertz monitor you need to reach 144 FPS or 165 FPS to disable this. Okay, this actually introduces slight input lag, but it's probably better to leave it on. Like me personally, I have it on. The reason why is I got a 2080 Ti. I play at 1440p and I can't reach my 165 frames, but this keeps it smooth, so make sure that's on. Anything else to consider? No. Now this is the big one. This is what's gonna help optimize Warzone a lot. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea, my driver version is 527.56. It's a studio version. the reason why I say this is because if you have an old driver version, your settings here in the control panel may differ. They may be reworded, there may be different settings, okay? So I'm just letting you know what version I got and what changes, okay? So over here, image scaling off, ambient occlusion off. Same goes for your, leave your anastrophic filtering to application controlled. Anti-aliasing, FXAA is off, the gamma correction is on. The mode is application controlled, as most games control your anti-aliasing. Transparency is off, background application, max frame rate off. CUDA cores, you want all of them on. Factors off, smoothness off. Low latency mode, you always want this on. Max frame rate, leave that off. Monitor technology, you can leave that as G-Sync, or fixed refresh rate if you do not have a G-Sync monitor. What else we got here? A lot of people here, OpenG, leave that as, leave that as prefer performance. What was it? Okay, a lot of people here, they select prefer maximum performance, which is stupid. That's like telling your graphics card to go operate at 400 watts all the time. So leave it as optimal power, and then when it needs to draw power and provide the graphics, it'll draw more power. Okay, don't set that to that maximum performance, because it's the dumbest shit you could do. Monitor frame rates are fine. This is the biggest one, shader cache. By default, this is driver default. I want you all to change this to 100 gigabytes. This is a massive thing when it comes to micro stutters in game and everything and all that, okay? Filtering on, negative LOD bias, allow quality, leave that as quality. A lot of people change it to high performance. Try linear optimization, leave that on. Threaded optimization, turn that on if it is off. Okay, it just allows your computer to take advantage of all its CPU cores. Triple buffering off. Vertical sync, I prefer that off. No one likes vertical sync. Okay, and the most important part, program settings. Now over here, you're going to hit add. You're going to go browse and look for your COD application, okay? Modern Warfare 2 or whatever game you're playing. But in this scenario, it's Warzone 2. So my one's already set. I just want you guys to follow all these settings and copy them straight over. So image scaling off, ambient occlusion can't be touched, anastrophic filtering is application controlled as per normal. All the grayed out options, leave them, can't be touched. These are all on by default. This is what I've changed. Show transparency is off, background application max frame rate is off, low latency mode is always on, max frame rate is off. Open GDI compatibility, you want this at prefer performance. The next one is your graphics card, optimal power, highest refresh rate. Now these parts are all different, okay? Only for COD you would be changing these. So it's the next options are texture filtering, sample optimization is on, negative LOD bias allow, quality high performance, try linear optimization on, threaded optimization on, triple buffering off, vertical sync off. Same goes with your virtual reality pre-rendered frames, leave these as default. After that, user all suite, user set, apply those settings, you're good. Two more things I'm going to get you guys to adjust before you play. You're going to go hit your Windows button, type in game mode. Alright, you'll get this thing called game mode settings. You want this on, okay? It just helps optimize the PC. One more thing, hit related settings, go to graphics settings. Now hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. This is on by default and requires your PC to be restarted. Okay, so when you turn this off, you need to restart your PC. Besides that, turn that off. That's another thing that's been giving stutters, so make sure that setting is off. Alright guys, welcome to the final part. We're now going to optimize in-game settings. So for all the gamers out there, I'm going to give you two settings, right? One settings for low recommended, just low specs. If your computer's got low specs, run these. Will give you the clearest vision while still being, playable. Okay, so most people have a borderless. This is very optional. It's up to you. Look, mouse and keyboard, I would suggest go exclusive. Less input lag. Less input lag is what you always want. Okay, so as for settings, the low settings are here. Okay, so dynamic resolution off. Just select your standard graphics card. Same as your resolution. Make sure it's all native. VSync off. You don't want any of those. Custom frame limit, I have mine as custom, so this is 165 because that's what my monitor can handle. My menu is 120, and if I'm alt tabbed it's 30. That's what those are. Now got a couple more things. So next over is quality. You want to set your preset as custom. Render resolution, you always want this at 100. If you have this set at 50, it's gonna look like this ugly picture here. Okay, so make sure that's always set at 100. Won't have any issues. Now as for the filtering, what they use in game, there's a lot of options. Okay, what I would always suggest is fidelity CAS. Now me personally, sharpness, this is all on your own personal monitor. Depending on what monitor you have, it may look more grainy, it may not. So I have mine to 60. If I have it set to 100, it's the unlike the look preferably. Anti-aliasing. So you do not want to set SMA. Leave that off. Leave it as ultra quality and filmic. This will give you the best image quality. SMA A goes to the left portion of the picture, whereas filmic is you got the right hand side. Video memory scale, leave this as your default. The only reason I've turned mine up is because I can handle it. My graphics card's a bit overclocked, so yeah. I think the default's 0.85, but some GPUs might have a different default. So for the lower end specs, resolution low, filtering high, nearby level of detail low, distant level of detail low, clutter draw distance short, particle quality low. Same goes for your particle quality levels. Leave your impact sprays on, so when someone's beaming a different direction and it's hitting the wall, you can tell where it's coming from. You will always want that on. Shader quality, you want this on low. Before, this used to matter. Having it high would allow you to see your gold weapons better, but I think they've fixed that in game now, so you can leave that as low. Gain more frames. Tessellation, you want that off. Terrain memory, you could go minimum. The only reason I run max is I like my trees further to grow out and stuff. Okay. On-demand texture streaming, you want that off. Streaming quality, I left that as normal. Some people go low, I've just left it. Volumetric quality is low. Deferred physics quality off. Water caustics off. Shadow map resolution, this, a lot of people put this on very low. I would suggest low being the minimal, and if you got like somewhat a decent PC, run it on normal. The only reason why is because when it comes to Warzone and you're looking at shadows, like for example someone's on top of a roof or a building, low doesn't pick up some shadows, whereas normal does. This is the same for Warzone too, I'm pretty sure, unless someone's happy out there to go and test it and prove me wrong. Screen space shadows, turn that off. Spot shadow quality low. Now spot cache, this one is massive when it comes to stuttering. You don't want this at low, medium or ultra, you only want this at high. Okay. Particle lighting low. Ambient occlusion off. Screen space reflections off. Static reflection quality low. Weather grid volumes off. Okay, now post-processing effects, these are all about cleaning up your image on your computer. Okay, so what you want to do is Nvidia reflex low latency, have that as on and boost. Okay, depth of field, turn this off. What you do when this is turned on is when you ADS, it blurs the outside part instead of the middle. Whereas when it's off, nothing's blurred, so you get better vision. World motion blur, this does the same shit. When you turn your camera, it'll blur it. You don't want that. You want a beam, you don't want that, okay? Weapon motion blur is the same thing. It just blurs your weapon instead of the world, okay? Film grain, now if you turn this up, it gives that war, you know them old school movies with war, black and white, it gives it that filmic grain. Turn that off because you want the best image quality, and that's about it, to be honest. One more area I've got here is the view tab. Field of view, you want this at 120, your preference, 80 is the default. Field of view for the ADS is affected. If you choose independent, it will zoom it in when you ADS to the normal field of view value. Okay, so ideally if you change your field of view here, you want this as affected to match when you ADS. Weapon field of view, people will ask what this is. You can go narrow, makes the weapon bigger. Default, it's as intended. I use wide, so smaller, so I can see more. I got more visual. That means I can see more enemies. My gun doesn't, you know, screw me over. So anything to minimize that, set that to wide. Third person field of view, your choice. Vehicle field of view, sorry, this one is on wide as well, just for, you know, scouting purposes, so when you're scanning for enemies and stuff. First person camera movement, change this down to 50%, same as the third person. The transition, your choice. This one, your choice as well. I have it as game perspective. That's pretty much it. For my rich homies that got the Omega PCs with their 3090, 4090, 4080s, these are the settings you want. I'm gonna swap them over, okay? The only thing you wanna swap over here, turn your texture resolution to high. These you can all turn high. Clutter control distance, you could go long. Particle quality, I'd recommend go high. It actually looks cleaner than low in game. I don't know if that matters to you. Shader quality, you can leave that low. You'll notice if you turn this to high, it'll take a bit of your frames down. Tessellation, leave that as off. Terrain memory, you can turn that to max, okay? Turn this on demand texture streaming. It'll make the game look cleaner and more high quality, but it will download as you're playing. But okay, streaming quality, volume normal. Volumetric quality, you can turn this to high. Okay, this will give you better lighting in game, but it will affect your frames, so see how you go on your GPU if you turn that to high. Deferred physics quality, look, me, water has never been a thing, so if water is a big thing to you, you could play around and turn those settings up if you want your water to look more fancy, okay? But it's not going to help you beam anyone through the water. Shadow map resolution, stay normal for this, guys. You don't need to run shadows. Always takes the most on your GPU. You never want to run that at max. Screen space, shadows, leave that as off. Spot shadow quality low. Spot cache, leave it high. Particle lighting, you can turn this up to high or ultra, your choice. See how you go on your frames. Ambient occlusion, I'll always leave this off. These all remain the same unless you want, you know, more reflection or better weather. Okay, this stays as on plus boost, and these are all the exact same settings. Okay, and that's about that for all the people that are chasing the high quality settings. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that will fix all your issues when you guys are grinding, playing. You'll notice straight away on the plane that it's going to be buttery smooth after you change these settings. I do offer full optimization packages for about 120 to people, so you guys are more than welcome to come through and ask for that. I'll leave my Discord link below, but yo, shots, thanks for the chill listening in. Hope this helps you out, and take care everyone. Yo, peace out.